Well, welcome back to Base Camp, WNC. I've been trying to get this thing done, and I promised some people about a spring box. Of course, this goes in with the spring series, collecting all the water downhill and everything else. But this is a old commercially available spring box. Picked this thing up at a yard sale for $10. It is white plastic. Yes, you can see through it. And no, they don't make it like this anymore. They're all dark green and brown and blacks and all. You could very well use this thing. You just have to paint it. But this is the inlet. This would be coming from your spring head. It'll come in. It'll fill up. This here is your outlet pipe. And what this has, if you can see it, is a whole pile of holes in it. I like using holes about 1/16 of an inch in diameter, just mainly because basically a spring box, all it really does is let the sediment settle down the bottom and come in. You only need as many holes in that thing as you have water coming out. If your spring flows 1 gallon a minute, if you got enough holes in there for 2 gallons a minute, you're fine. But I'm going to turn the water hose on and show you how this thing works. But basically, spring water comes out here, it'll fill up and be going out these holes. I'll put a plug in that hole, make sure it simulate your spring box, your water cistern being full. Then it just comes over to this overflow pipe, which is nothing but a solid pipe. It'll overflow, come out the outside box into a hose, either back into the spring or make a wet spot for wildlife. Let me turn the hose on and I'll show you how this thing operates. Well, here's my simulation with a garden hose. It's a little bit easier when you can control the spring flow. But as you see, it's hard to see in this white box, but here comes the water, it's flowing in. And right now, even at that flow right there, it's only up halfway up the section with the holes. And as you can see, it's coming out the water outlet that would go into your cistern. Then let's just say your cistern's full. We'll simulate that by sticking a plug in there. So now your spring will keep putting water out. It's almost like watching water boil. We're waiting for it to fill up. So right now, basically your cistern's full. It fills up, it hits the overflow, and it'll start coming out here in a second. Oh, this is just time tense. And there it goes. Now, all your water now is going to come out your overflow, which you could put back in the stream or make a wildlife hole, or maybe take it and let it just go direct to the wildlife or to the livestock water, anything like that. Okay, now this is a commercial one, and I think they're about 160 bucks now. There's a couple different companies that make them, and like I said, they're dark green and brown and black. This one you'd have to paint. And of course what you would do is this thing would pretty much be buried up to the lid end of it. Because of course you got your water line flowing in. Even though it flows all the time, you want to keep it from freezing. If you're in this area, your area, you might not have to worry about it. Then of course you'd have 2 lines screwed in there coming out. And that's all well and good, but this is Carolina Homestead Planner. And we do homesteading and prepping and minimalism for all the other 99%. So now we're going to show you a hack on this thing and how to do it for a whole lot less. Well, here we are. We got a list of stuff here now. First, you're going to need a food grade bucket, because this right here you're going to have your drinking water in. I did cut the store name off, but this here had white buttercream icing. And if you're worried about drinking spring water, you probably shouldn't eat that buttercream ice cream. But you're going to need 2 1-inch 90-degree elbows for those. And for the people that'll drive me crazy, these are about 7-inch long pieces of pipe. This is the overflow with no holes. This is the pipe that goes to your cistern. And like I said, it'll have, I like 1/16 inch holes, and you'll probably need about 50 of them going spaced from the bottom to the top all the way around it. You will then need 3 1-inch male adapters. That means there's threads on one end, and this is where 1-inch pipe goes in the other. You will need 3 1-inch female adapters, and this is where it's smooth on the one side, threaded on the other. And then you will need 3 O-rings, and you can go to Napa, the hardware store. Don't buy ones that are $7 a piece. These were like 25 cents. You can get them at Lowe's or whatever. It's just going to seal the bucket up. You'll either need 3 of them or 6 of them, depending on how thick your bucket is. And what we're going to do, doesn't matter what side you come in, we're going to drill a hole in here for the inlet, and the other side we're going to drill 2 holes here at the bottom for the outlet. And what we're going to use here is a hole saw, and you want that hole saw so that this fitting almost screws in. And a 1-inch male adapter right there uses about 1.25 inch size hole saw, or you can use a spade bit, either one. One thing I do need to point out, with these 1-inch male adapters, you want a square edge on them. They make ones that are kind of rounded. In order to hold that O-ring in that thing, it gets a better seal with this square edge on this thing. Let me put the O-ring on, and we're going to screw it in the hole. As I said, we just came down here about 5 inches. We just got below all their workings of the bucket. Came down there. That'll be the inflow. That'll be coming from the spring head. We drilled 2 holes. One will be outflow. One will be going to the cistern. Our 1.25 inch hole saw. And if I can do this all one-handed, this thing screws right in. No, I couldn't do it one-handed, but 1.25 inch, it'll screw right into this little thin bucket. And I don't know if there's any difference whether I screw them in from here or you screw this in from the other side. It doesn't matter. Well, of course, now you have male thread sticking out on that one. This one here has the female adapter screwed on the inside. We'll screw the female adapter onto this one, and we'll make one a overflow and one to flow to the house. So of course we got both female adapters screwed on the inside, and this is just a little piece of 1-inch pipe. It goes in there first. One there. One on the other one. And we'll put the 90 degrees on. One there. One here. And of course you take your same piece of pipe with the holes in it and the cap. 6, 7 inches, 8 inches, whatever you want. And now we'll make this one the one going to the cistern or the pump. And this one will be the overflow. And we'll put a cap, okay? Now we're going to take this thing over to my handy dandy homemade spring. We're going to put it on the hose. Oh, one other thing, with this bucket, it comes with a good lid. You can snap it down, keep all the critters out of it. You will want to come in here somewhere and drill a couple little holes. Once again, airflow has still got to get in and out of this thing. Let's go hook it up to the pump. One thing I forgot to mention, you can buy these. They got rubber seals on them, nuts. They're called bulkhead fittings. They're threaded on both sides. I mean, that's what goes in the tanks and whatnot. Get them at Tractor Supply. They're about $15 to $19 a piece, depending on where you buy them. I've never had a problem just using 1-inch male and female adapters in an O-ring, and they're like 49 cents for one and 39 cents for the other, plus the O-ring, depending on what store you go to. So we got a couple more ideas, but let's take this thing over to the hose and show you how this one works. Okay, as my simulated spring starts filling this box up, one thing you do want to remember, all these fittings right here inside the box, you just want to push them in hand tight. Do not glue them, because if you need to take this thing out to clean all the holes out of this thing and clean all your, it's a whole lot easier to be able to take it out and clean it than it is to try to clean it in the box. Well, there's my spring running. So of course, naturally, it's just now starting up on the bottom of the hose, and it's coming out of the outlet thing, and it'll have to come all the way up here to the top to be able to overflow. But as long as you're running and you got all the water flowing out, going to your cistern from the spring, I mean, you can make the holes more or you can make them larger if you want, but you're only going to get as much water coming out going to the house or to the cistern as what you got coming in. Well, here it is. This is what we've got going right now. We've got less than $20 and all the fittings, the O-rings, providing you get a bucket from a restaurant or somebody or buy it. But like I said, it needs to be food grade. It doesn't have to be square. I mean, you can do this on a round bucket just as well. I just happen to have gotten this square one. It does make it a little bit easier. Put the lid on top. I've got one more idea for you to show before I post this video. And but if you're really using a spring box, I mean, it's really for stuff to settle out. You need to go back up to your spring head, and maybe you need to redo your gravel pack. Maybe you need to go there when it's pouring down rain, and if you're getting a lot of dirt or sediment in here, maybe during a high rain event, you're getting a lot of ground surface water running in more than just your spring water. You may want to take a look at that and see what all that does. If I can help you out, I'm going to show you this other hack if I can get this filter and show it to you, and we'll close off. Well, I hope this answers some questions. I believe the man's name is Steve that's been asking me about a spring box. I just got a man who just emailed me in Pickens, South Carolina about a question. That's what I like to help people with. My time, I don't have a problem answering questions. I don't charge any consulting fee unless I'm out there, and I do a lot of consulting, but I'd rather do the work. Well, help me out. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're all kind of DIY people. I guess that's why my channel isn't as big as everybody else's. We don't have the drama on it. But if you would, like it, share it, hit the bell, all that good stuff, and tell your friends about it. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.